I was asked to sing for a fan who was dying. He was 40 and had a brain aneurysm that was developing slowly, and he could no longer come out and hear us play. So his wife came to me one evening at our show and said, "Would you be willing to come to our home and play for John?" And his name was John Swan. We set up and they invited friends, and he got to hear my music one more time because he could no longer go out. And it was so moving for all of us, for the musicians. And what really struck me was that it gave his friends and family something to gather around and something to focus on besides the illness. It brought us so much joy, it brought them so much joy. And I thought, wow, this is so powerful. We should do this more often here in Austin, especially the live music capital of the world. And not too long after that, a friend of mine, Gay Logan, who is the co-founder of Swan Songs, of the concept, asked me if I would help her put together something, a benefit for Christopher House. She wanted to contribute to their mission. And I said, I can, but what I really want to do is find a way to bring musicians directly to the patients rather than just doing fundraisers for them. And she said, I love that idea. You get me a list of musicians and I'll start letting the hospice people know. And that was in the early 90s. So Gay and I did it very informally, off and on for years. And so finally, that was in 92 that I sang for John Swan. And it was in 2005 when I marched down to the courthouse and filed the paperwork to create a 501c3 with a lot of support and help from Gay and other people.
So this is a service that's free to the recipient. That's, I think, a really important part of this because, again, it's about the gift of music and the gift of healing.
I wanted to make sure that the music that we're bringing to people is at a high level of professionalism, plus it's by request. So it's very specific requests that the recipient says, this is the music I love, and then we go find someone who can do that. So we're counting on their expertise, and very defined expertise sometimes. Classical bassoon, for instance, or Lithuanian accordion, and things I never anticipated.
The mission of Swan Songs to provide this service to people at the end of life is the heart of what it is to me. But I love that we get to provide an honorarium for the musician. I love that it has that mission as well. I grew up in a musical family. I know how much work and effort goes into just the bread and butter of living as an artist, as a musician, and I grew up surrounded by amazing musicians that could barely pay their bills.
Muchos de los músicos, no nomás nuestro grupo, pero me imagino todos los grupos, son pobres y tocan sus instrumentos por poquito dinero. Many of the musicians in our group, for sure, and also in some of the other groups, for sure, are poor. They're making money playing their instruments. And so the fact that Swan Songs is supporting them and giving them a little bit of money to take home is a very honorable and great thing.
I think it actually maintains a certain integrity in the work. We can vet our musicians. We really make sure that the musicians we're sending in are good at what they do, and they can really connect musically with the recipient.
Families often will want to pull out their checkbooks and want to give a tip to the musicians, and it really is very freeing to be able to say, no, this is truly just a gift. My training in spiritual care, the concept of communion is huge for me. That communion is not just about a one-way giving. It's truly about the reciprocal circle of giving and receiving in which both are touched and both get to have connection. Everyone who is involved is touched in some way. Certainly the patient gets the gift of music that's been so meaningful for them their whole lives that they get to experience. The families get to have a moment that they will never, ever, ever forget, of a time with mom or dad or grandmom or granddad or husband or wife or sibling or child, a special moment of a special concert just for them. The liaisons, the volunteers from Swan Songs who are there to help coordinate the concerts, And the musicians themselves, as they give that gift of music, there is just something touching about knowing that you have impacted such a special moment in a person's life in such a deep and rich and profound way.